the author of the unnamed book, The Unnamed Midwife. I've been dreaming. The Unnamed Midwife, the Book of Edda, and upcoming, the Book of Flora, which you can pre-order from independent bookstores, Amazon, or your bookseller of choice. Her debut novel, The Book of the Unnamed Midwife, won the Philip K. Dick Award. The second book was shortlisted for it. For those of you counting, that means she has what?
2 days.
2 days. Thank you. And I put a haiku about her. Evil incarnate. She rises from the black soot to tell you a tale. Please give a round of applause to Maggie.
That is the last time I let somebody who knows me introduce me. So I have a piece for you tonight that's starting to fight with literally every cis dude in my life. It's called Men Have No Idea How Fucking Loud They Are. The first time I told a man how loud he was, I didn't even dare to say it in words. It is not a thing we say. It is not safe to say it. The loud man always has a reason to be loud. He is excited. He is angry. He is just boisterous as a person, and that's how he is. And we all have to live with it. I stopped living with it in community college. It took way too much courage for me to raise my hands. My public speaking instructor was a polar bear. Just as big, just as white, just as scary. Massive hands like paws and a mouth that could crush your whole head if you lined up your ears just right. I watched him for half a semester. He was a kind and sensitive man who just had no idea how loud he was. I saw people in his class, people of all genders, flinch and duck as he gathered steam and reached the most exciting part of his lecture. There was a day when I couldn't take it anymore. I raised both hands to him when I knew he had his attention. I flattened them to build a level, and I raised my eyebrows. I lowered them significantly. From below my chin to just above the surface of my desk, the meaning was clear. Bring it down, Mike. He understood at once. Not only did he bring his voice back to a normal speaking volume, but he changed his posture. He stopped towering over us, stopped leaning into the front row and poking the air with his finger. He understood. I shook like a terrier for the rest of that class, but I had done it. I had almost spoken up. I had told him to bring it down. He asked me to stay after class, and I wished I was dead. You know, he said, leaning over his desk and pushing his 6-foot frame into my space, I've had teachers in the adjacent rooms complain to me about my volume. Thank you for reminding me. You're absolutely right. Please let me know if I get to be too much again. I was relieved because he didn't yell at me or make excuses for why he was allowed to shout at us. I didn't yet know that I shouldn't have accepted the ongoing responsibility for policing his behavior. Or that it would buy me eye rolls and continue shouting for the rest of the semester as he became inured to the novelty of being asked to bring it down. Since then, it has only become more clear to me that men are allowed to be loud in a way that women are not, and that they often have no idea how loud they are being. This is particularly true in public spaces. Think about the most annoying person in a restaurant, the man who has to dominate his whole table with the loudest voice, and thus dominates yours as well. Think about men at the airport who have very important phone conversations at top volume while walking around in the terminal. Think about the relative volume of people sharing a cab. I've seen a woman curl her entire body around her phone and whisper at the mouthpiece after apologizing to her driver and her fellow passengers for taking the car at all. I've seen men blithely slip into cabs or stand at a checkout counter oblivious of the social expectation of their behavior, shouting and laughing into the phone as if they are alone in their own space. Yes, women are also loud. Yes, this complaint has significant racial dynamics as well. Black people are often perceived as louder as they are and punished for it disproportionately to any other group. Predictably, this is a charge often leveled against black women, quite often, because even in a racist society, men have more of a right to be louder. Being loud is just another means of taking up space. Voice is not the body, but it is born of the body. Men's bodies are always entitled to the most space and always entitled to impose their comfort at the discomfort of others. Think of this unwitting loudness as another dimension of manspreading. Men have all kinds of reasons that they need to spread their knees wide on a public conveyance. They have backaches, they have gonads. They have no idea it bothers anyone. Men who are loud offer the same excuses. They're slightly hard of hearing. They have a lot of bass in their voices, so they just seem louder. They're performers. They're just high energy. In all these cases, maintaining these excuses requires ignoring all signaling and cues from the people around you. People who may not feel safe just telling you to bring your knees together or bring it down a bit. Manspreaders see people trying to fit into the space around them. They see the looks of dismay and disdain. They see people tuck their skirts in, pull their bags close, try to arrange children and dogs in wedges of wasted space that they create. Loud men in cabs see people pull away from them, look out the window, sometimes even cover their ears. Loud men in restaurants can see the eye-rolling and death glares from tables all around. My community college teacher faced a room of people who flinched every time he started a sentence. Our shoulders came up around our ears. We were tense. We were scared. All of this was obvious to me, and should have been obvious to a man twice my age with a communications degree and a vantage point that showed him every face in the room. Loud men know that they're loud. They just don't care. Those rules about taking up space, about the body, about the discomfort of people around you are not invisible to men. Those gestures that signify fear and vulnerability are universal. Men employ them all the time. Men expect to be seen when they feel threatened. They expect someone to know they're uncomfortable, whether they say so or not. Watch a man shrink up when he's touched against his will by another man. Or watch his reaction when a woman entering his space and he's not attracted to her. Watch any man get yelled at by anyone. He will give the same signals, but he will be utterly unable to perceive them when he is giving the offense. He will invariably ask why someone didn't tell him he was being too loud. Because men aren't conditioned to be afraid to speak up. Because it is always someone else's job to tell a man how to act, how to handle his anger when he doesn't like what they say. There is a straight line from the selective reading of cues over volume to rape culture. Men will claim they cannot read a signal for women. They never know when someone's attracted to them or not, and they advocate all responsibility for doing the work of understanding symbolic behavior and cues. Men will say that anyone who didn't scream no was somehow saying yes. Anyone who doesn't say you're being too loud obviously doesn't have a problem with volume. When someone bursts into tears or experiences genuine panic in an onslaught of male shouting, their response can be easily classed as an overreaction, because it came out of nowhere, according to the only person in the room whose opinion matters. There is an entire language that men can choose to pretend they don't speak until it's convenient to them to be bilingual. There's an old joke that says a straight cis man understands consent the second you slide a finger into his asshole without asking. It's crude, but it's essentially correct. Men often pretend that consent is murky, and these nonverbal signals are a system of hieroglyphics just unknowable to them, until their own bodies are at risk. We must stop allowing men to pretend they don't speak this language. We must hold them accountable to the same standard to which we hold women. All neurotypical adults can tell when people around them are uncomfortable. All of us are capable of asking the kind of question we ask women to ask. What's wrong? What can I do to make you more comfortable? You seem tense. Did I do something to upset you? Men can do that. Men can learn to do that. It's another small part of dismantling rape culture. Pay attention to the ways we say no and lower your fucking voice. In recent memory, I can think of 3 different times I had to tail a male partner when he was shouting at me over the distance of a gap between pillows. Each time I was with someone who I knew would never override my consent or even test my boundaries. Each time I said it gently, with a hand laid on his body so it wouldn't feel like rejection. Each time I said something playful like, hey, I'm right here, with a smile. Each time I undertook this method of asking for a reduction in volume after multiple attempts at lowering my own voice, softening my own voice, shifting uncomfortably, looking away. Each time the man on the other pillow smiled back, and then gave me a reason why he had to be so fucking loud. Thank you.
Where can people buy every single one of your books? Read your next book, read all of your many essays and fiction that is available online.
So you can get my book anywhere fine books are sold, especially independent sellers here in the East Bay and San Francisco, Booksmith, Borderlands, Pegasus, you name it. There's always also Amazon, no shade and no shame. I get paid the same and I don't care. You can follow me at Twitter at Meg Elison, real name always, or check out what I'm doing next on megelison.com. I do have a Patreon, throw me $1, I'll surprise you.
Woo!